Hey guys, so YouTube Live not going to work on the computer, but I'm going to post this video over the packets that I'm going to go over today, and then hopefully it'll help you guys out, and I'll be here to answer any questions you have till 6, and then I'll also be around through Google Hangouts after that if you need help. So we're doing the math recipes, the math of the mall, and the lines, angles, and shapes packets. So just a few things I wanted to go over. I'm going to show you guys my screen on my computer. So on the math recipes packet, the first page is all one-step equations, which we've gone over several times. So it should all be review for you. But I just wanted to go over one thing. When solving these, you're going to use inverse operations. So the 4 operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Addition and subtraction are inverse of each other, and then multiplication and division are also going to be inverse of each other. When you see the number connected, like right here, to the variable without a sign, that's going to be multiplication. So like here for number 1, it's x plus 4 equals 5. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get x by itself. In order to do that, we have to do the inverse operation of what's attached to it, which is plus 4. The inverse of plus 4 is going to be minus 4. So you'll subtract 4 from the left. Whatever you do to the left, you also have to do to the right. So we'll subtract 4 from the right as well. So 5 minus 4 is 1. That'll leave us with x equals 1. Over here, for number 10, we have 6 times y equals 24. So like I said, this is connected through multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is going to be division. So we'll divide both sides by 6. That'll cancel out this 6, leaving us with just y on the left. Whatever we do to the left, we have to go and do to the right. So 24 divided by 6 is 6. I'm sorry, it's 4. That's my fault. So y would equal 4 for number 10. And that's how you're going to go ahead and go through all of these, all the way down through number 18 on the first page. On the second page, it's exponents, which, as it shows you at the top, exponents are just a number multiplied by itself. I know a lot of times our favorite mistake to make is 5 times 2 for 5 squared, but it's really 5 times 5. So this whole box up here is super helpful for you if you get stuck. Down here, we can do number 1 together. Number 1 is 4 squared, so that would be 4 times 4, which is 16. So your answer for 1 is 16. Over here on number 7, it's a couple more steps. So it's 2 squared plus 3 cubed, which if you look here, 2 squared is 2 times 2. So you're going to do that plus 3 cubed, which is 3 times 3 times 3. So 2 times 2 is 4, so that would be 4 plus 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So we do 27 plus 4, which is 31. So your answer to number 7 is going to be 31. So our next packet I wanted to go over with you guys is math at the mall. This one starts with greater than, less than. So we're looking at numbers through this maze to determine if the statement is true or false. So we're going to start here. And it says 2.63 is greater than 2.608. So when we're looking, the first number in both of these is 2. So we're going to move to the second number, which are both 6. So we're going to look at the third number. This one is 3, this one is a 0. So 2.63 would be greater than 2.608 because the 3 is bigger than the 0. So that would take us this way down to here, where we have 6.5 is greater than 6.95. Again, our first numbers are the same with the 6, so we move to the other side of the decimal point. We have a 5 and we have a 9. The 9 is bigger than the 5, which would make 6.95 greater than 6.5. That means this statement here is false, which would move us to the left and up to here, where we have 12.1 is less than 12.11. This one gets a little tricky. We have a 12 on the left of the decimal on both sides, and then on the right side of the decimal we have a 1 for the first number. After that, this left one doesn't have anything, so we have to assume that there's a 0 behind it. So we would have a 0 and a 1, which would mean that 12.11 is greater than 12.10. So we would move to the right. And you would do that all the way around until you get to the middle of the mall. The second page is all about percents. If you move to the bottom of the page, there's a great box that shows you how to solve your percents. So if we go back up, we can look at number 1. All right, it wants to know what 50% of each number is. So for number 1, we're looking for 50% of 6. To multiply a percent, we change it to a decimal. In order to change a percent to a decimal, you're going to change the percent to a decimal, and you're going to move it 2 spaces to the left. So this will turn into 0.50. Using the formula on the bottom in the box, you would do 0.50 times 6, which will give you 3. If you look at number 2, you would do the same thing. 0.50 times 50, which would give you 25. Okay. Our last packet that I wanted to start going over with you is the angles, shapes, lines, angles, and shapes. I'm sorry. First thing is I want to review these terms with you. This is a point, so it marks a location. It also would signify on rays or line segments endpoints. They are all labeled with letters. A line has an arrow on both sides. It'll continue on forever in both directions. A ray, on the other hand, will have an endpoint on one side, and the other side will be an arrow, so it only continues on in one direction. I know it's not up here, but a line segment would look like this. It would just be a line between 2 endpoints. Wouldn't have any arrows on either side of it. These 2 lines are intersecting. That means that they cross at a specified location. Parallel lines will go on forever and never intersect, so they'll never cross. And down here, this picture shows perpendicular lines. Our definition says that they form right angles, which we know right angles are 90-degree angles. So to be perpendicular, they would intersect at a 90-degree angle. So back up here at the top, this one has an endpoint on one side and an arrow on the other. So we know it'll continue on in one direction forever, which would make it a ray. When we name them based on their endpoints, or their points just in general. So this would be ray XY. Down here for number 2, it has an arrow on both sides, which would make it a line, continues on in both directions forever. So it would be line QR. Okay, down here for your next page where I want you to draw it, the first thing I want you to do is draw a line segment. Like I said earlier, line segments have an endpoint on both sides. So it would look like this, and we're going to label it A, B. Number 2, I want you to draw parallel lines. So we know parallel means that they never intersect. They'll go on forever in both directions without touching. So it says the first one is going to be MN, and the second one is going to be PR. For number 3, I want you to draw a ray and label it DE. A ray has one endpoint, and the other side is going to have an arrow because it goes on in one direction forever. And then we're going to label these D and E. So this is number 1, number 2, and number 3 on the second page of the Lines, Angles, and Shapes packet. Okay, so that's all I had to go over today to start with. I'm around to answer any questions you have on that. If you should have any other questions on any of those packets, on any of the pages, you can reach me through Google Hangouts or through my email. Ask me any questions. I'll be available from 8 to 3 every day. Hope you guys are enjoying your time off.